So let's continue with the past tense today, right? Past tense, when we talk about the past, past means the time that has already gone. Okay. So again, past tense will also have those four types of tenses, and among them, the first is the simple past tense. The simple past or past indefinite tense. So, the simple past or past indefinite tense is used to refer to an action, is used to refer to an action that occurred in the past. So, the action that has occurred in the past, for that we always use simple past or past indefinite tense. If we talk about its formation, it is always subject, then second form of verb, and then object. Second form of verb is always the past form of verb. Like, for example, if we say, the children jumped into the swimming pool, jumped into the swimming pool. So when we are saying jumped into the swimming pool, it means we are talking about the past. It can be yesterday, or it is any past event, right? So that is why we have used second form of verb here. I hope it is clear.
Yes,
Next,
ma'am.
yeah. So the next is the past continuous tense. The past continuous tense. So past continuous is like past that has occurred in the past, and continuous is about ongoing, progressive. So past continuous tense is used to describe actions, is used to describe actions that were ongoing in the past, that were ongoing in the past, right? Like we can say, when the bell rang, Varun was solving his maths problems. So was solving his maths problems at the time when bell rang. So that time in the past, when the bell rang, Varun was solving his maths problem. It means that the action of solving the maths problem was going on at that time. Now, please understand, when we were talking about present continuous tense, it was the action which is going on at the time of speaking. Okay, when we are talking about it, at the time of speaking, which is going on. But in the past, it refers to an action which has no connection to the present. The ongoing actions took place and were completed at some point well before the time of speaking. Right? Got it? Okay.
Yes,
Next,
ma'am.
next, the past perfect tense. The past perfect tense is used to refer to actions, is used to refer to actions that took place and were completed in the past, that took place and were completed in the past, right? And please understand, this tense is very important that way, because it is used to emphasize the consequences of the action, right? The consequences of the action, or links with something else, or links with something else. Now, how come it is? Let me tell you. Now, please understand, for example, if we say, uh, after she had learned to drive, after she had learned to drive, she felt more independent, right? She felt more independent. Now, please understand, in this scene, there are two actions. One is learning driving, okay, learn to drive. Another is feeling more independent. But feeling more independent is actually the consequence of this first action, which is learning drive. So, when two actions take place in the past, and one is the consequence of the first action, so for that first action, we always use past perfect tense, right? And the action which has come as the consequence of that action, for that we always use simple past. So that is why here
Ma'am,
had learnt has been used, and here second form of verb has been used. Yes, yes, Laisha.
ma'am, I didn't get it.
Okay, let me explain you once again. See, past perfect tense is used to refer to action that took place and were completed in the past. An action began in the past and it was completed also. But this
Okay.
tense is used to emphasize the consequence of that action also. Right? Like, for example, I gave you an example here when we were doing simple past.
Yeah,
The children jumped into the swimming pool. Okay, the
yeah.
children jumped into the swimming pool. uh so here it is only one action that took place in the past, it occurred in the past, right? But if we say the children had jumped into the swimming pool, and the children had jumped into the swimming pool, and one of them was injured, or one of them injured his foot, right?
Oh,
Now please
so
understand.
basically,
Hmm.
so basically, this tense means the thing that is already, the thing which is already done, but the consequence after that, after the thing is done.
Yeah,
Like,
another action takes place. Another action
yeah.
takes place as the consequence. So, usually
Okay, okay.
in these sentences, you will find two actions are taking place in the past. One is the original action, and then another is the consequence of that first action. So, for the first action, means which has taken place earlier, for that we always use past perfect. And the action which occurs as the consequence of the first action, for that we always use simple past. Like here, after she had learned to drive, she felt more independent. So when she learned to drive, this took place first. After that, as a consequence, she started feeling more independent. So here we have used past perfect, had learned to drive. And in the second action, which is the consequence, felt more independent, here we have used simple past. I hope it is clear now.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, the last but not the least is the past perfect continuous tense. The past perfect continuous tense. The past perfect continuous tense is used to indicate that a continuing action in the past, that a continuing action in the past began before another past action began. Before another past action began, or also you can say, or interrupted the first action, or interrupted the first action, right? Like, for example, the boys had been running The boys had been running around for 10 minutes. For 10 minutes before the teachers brought them back. Before the teachers brought them back into the class. Into the class. Now, here also you see there are two actions. One is boys running around, and second is teachers brought them back. But the first action here, they have been running around. So it is an ongoing action. They had been running around for a few minutes. It's few. So it is an ongoing action, a continuing action. Okay, they had been running around in the past. The duration is also given. I told you in perfect continuous, you will always find that some duration, the action is happening over a period of time, right? So they had been running around, and then uh, the teacher brought them back. This is another action, but here we have used simple past because this is here it is another action which is linked with the ongoing action, and both are happening in the past. I hope you understand. I hope you
Yes,
understand, beta. Okay. Now you
yes,
see,
ma'am.
I forgot. Let me talk about the sentence formations once again. So if we talk about simple past, right? Simple past or past indefinite, the formation is like subject, second form of verb, and then object. Now, let us talk further about it. For example, if we say he wrote a letter, right? He wrote a letter. This is an affirmative sentence. If we have to make negative of it, how will it be? He did not write a letter. He did not write a letter. Okay, so for making negative sentences in past, simple past tense, we use the verb did, which is the past form of do. And if we have to make a question of it, it will be, did he write a letter? Right?
Ma'am, can it be did he wrote a letter?
No, it can never be did he wrote. With did, we always use first form of verb, because did in itself is a
Okay,
second form of verb, right? So with
okay,
did,
okay.
we always use first form of verb. Please remember, it is a very common mistake which children usually make. Now, second is past continuous tense. Past continuous tense, and for past continuous, I told you whenever it is continuous, we always use ing form of verb with it. So when it is past, we'll be using was or were. Was comes with singular subjects, right? And were comes with plural subjects. Okay, so if the same sentence has to be changed into past continuous, how are we going to do that? It will be like, he was writing a letter, correct? वो letter लिख रहा था. And if it has to be made negative, it will be like, he was not writing a letter. And if a question has to be formed, it will be, was he writing a letter or was he not writing a letter? If it is a negative question. I hope it is clear. I hope it is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Now look at the next one, that is past perfect tense. So whenever it is past perfect, uh, we always use third form of verb, and as it is past, so the past form of has have is always had, and third form of verb and object. So if the same sentence has to be changed into past perfect, it will be, he had written a letter. If the negative is to be made, he had not written a letter. And the question will be, had he written a letter? Right? And the
Yes, ma'am.
last in this is past perfect continuous. Now again, subject when it is past perfect. So for perfect, we'll use had. It is continuous, so ing form of will also be there. And then we'll have been with had. So if the same sentence, let's see how will it be. It'll be uh, he had been writing a letter. If it is a negative, he had not been writing a letter. Question, had he been writing a letter? Right? I hope you are able to understand these formations